Do you want to hear a funny story? I literally just filmed this entire video, 31 minutes of filming with the mic off, didn't realize, went in the room, stuck the card in the computer, got ready to edit, and well, you know, there was no sound. So here we are, round 2. The good thing is I can cover some things I forgot the first time around, so hopefully this is better, even though I'm still sweating from the first time. This is the GORUCK GR2 26L 500D 2021 version with the ballistic nylon on the bottom. I'm gonna try to be quick, my battery's running low, so let's get into it. I am allergic to Facebook in a lot of ways, but I have been part of the Carryology Facebook group for the last couple of weeks and I have very, very much enjoyed it. Just want to have a shout out to all my Carryology peeps who catch the videos. I very much appreciate it. This video might seem a little bit loopy. I'm not drunk, I'm just sweaty and tired. I will try my best. Today this bag went back on pre-order and it's the 26L version, but all of the 500D GORUCK GR2s went back on pre-order today. The date is July 15th, 2021. Obviously, if you're watching this in the future, that's gonna mean nothing to you. The pre-order goes until July 21st. As far as I know, there are a bunch of colors that you can get. This might be sold out by the time this video goes live. If it is, I very much apologize. I know that they're gonna limit the amount of pre-order units, so, well, you know, hopefully you got one if you really wanted one. If you're excited to wait for it, maybe you can watch my video and get a bit of info about how the bag looks and works. I have to be quick, as I mentioned. So in this video, we're going to talk about the materials on the bag, a little bit about how it works in travel, in daily carry, and about why I think this is one of the best bags, maybe the best bag ever made. Well, for me anyway. To get something out of the way quickly, this bag was given to me by GORUCK. It was given to me when my baby was being born. It was kind of a gesture of good faith from them. I am a longtime fan. Of course, I make this content, so it's a little bit about that too. But you know, in the end, I was extremely pleased to get this, and but everything I say, I would have bought this bag anyway. As I mentioned earlier, this is the 500D version. This bag used to come in a 1000D Cordura. There was one run, I believe, of the 26L and 1000D, and the GR2 also comes in a 34L version and a 40L version. They also always were 1000D Cordura. Nowadays, at least in this current generation, they are 500D with ballistic nylon on the bottom, which is something GORUCK used to do in the past. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think that's a great choice as we go. Of course, it's lighter, softer, more malleable, all those things. And as we go, I will explain why I think that makes a big difference. I'm also going to do a little bit of this. This is the GORUCK GR1. I'm going to compare them so you can get a little bit of an idea of how they look together. I got in a slight argument with a guy on the Carryology forums, I mean, argument's probably a stretch, that he said that this one was taller. For my money, this feels taller. I don't know if I'm just crazy or not, but it's, maybe you can see it like this. Now there it looks taller, so, well, sorry guy, I think you might have been right. But in use, I find this one tends to feel a bit shorter. This is the 21L version, of course. This is the Guerrilla X Dyneema GR1 21L, but you know, aside from that, it's just same shape as the original GR1 21L. A couple of things that I think are very different about these bags. Obviously, if you can look at the side here, the GR2 has 2 compartments. The GR1 has 1 compartment. This main compartment of the GR2 is basically the same size as the GR1's main compartment, and there's another part attached here, which has this little slopey thing here. Aside from that, this front pocket is obviously the same, although it doesn't work the same in use, and I will talk about that too. During the video, as I want to compare them, I will bring this guy back from time to time and we will compare. But let's get back to this guy. I'll talk about the outside first quickly. So there are these PALS webbing loops here. There are 3 rows of them. There is PALS webbing on the side here. You could use this to attach like a water bottle or the hip belt. I do have the hip belt. It is actually quite comfortable. Helps if you're carrying a lot of weight. 26L, you probably don't need it, but it is attachable and it fits very nicely if you need it. Here, I actually think there are situations where I might attach something to this, and I will explain when we get into the bag where the thing I would attach happens to be. The back panel is very similar to what it looks like on every GORUCK. There are these very beefy, well, beefy straps. They are tough and beefy. One thing to note, this is 500D Cordura, which will be a lot nicer on your clothes than the 1000D of old. That will be nicer, especially when you're traveling, because I think that when you're traveling, you're probably not gonna be wearing your running, rucking clothes stuff, so it might be nicer to have the 500D on your back. There are webbing, or there is webbing here that you can attach a sternum strap to. This doesn't come with the bag. This is an Evergoods one. I stole off one of my Evergoods bags. Another argument kind of thing I got in with somebody was about, because in the comments, somebody in the comments, I said, well, obviously this GORUCK doesn't come with a sternum strap, and they said, well, I shouldn't say obviously because every bag does, and these bags are expensive, and blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't, this bag doesn't come with a sternum strap. Okay? Okay. I do attach one. I think it's helpful because it helps with the sweat, although GORUCK bags tend to not need it as much as other bags do, in my opinion. The top handle here, this is my own doing. This is a paracord top handle. I have a video about that if you are interested in it. The bag does stand up on its own perfectly well. It stands up on its own perfectly well. There is like a kind of pass-through here for one of those water hose thingies. I've never used one. I don't know what the reasoning is for that. This is a big difference between this and that GR1. So GR1s these days, especially the kind of special edition ones, are getting a pocket up here, which you can see. There's a pocket up here. It's kind of one of these like little, it's like a dump pocket where you can put your keys and wallet. Very useful in this bag, especially considering this front pocket is almost useless. It's so tight. It's not tight now because there's nothing in it, but generally speaking, it's a very tight pocket to use. So the people that are inevitably going to ask me if I think this is going to be on the pre-order, no, I don't think it's going to be on the pre-order, and no, I don't think you need it because you just don't need it. I'll explain in a minute. Bye-bye, guy. The laptop compartment on all GORUCKs is technically in the same place. It's back here. It's nice enough. It opens like so. It stops around here so your laptop doesn't hit the ground. It's nice, you know. The thing is, I don't tend to use them ever. The main reason I don't use them is, well, because GORUCK gives you another option. I don't like this flippy situation here. I like to get everything in one zipper kind of deal. So I tend to put all the stuff in the main compartment, and I'll show you as I go. I do that for every GORUCK, it's not just this one. This one, if I was traveling and it was completely stuffed, I'd probably put my laptop there. Otherwise, it sits in the main. Look, that's a complaint on GORUCK, but they give you options, which, well, options are always good. They are always good. Again, so this bag has two compartments, as I mentioned. This compartment here is completely different than a GR1. It's what differentiates this from a GR1. This part here is basically exactly a GR1, so this is the part that differs. Now, I mentioned on the previous bag when I was talking about the GR1 that this front pocket is useless. This bag is packed out with a huge packing cube here. And this front pocket is very easy to get into. Like, I mean, super easy. The reason is for that, you don't tend to stuff this front bit here. That makes this front pocket way more usable, and it's a big difference in daily life with this bag. Seriously, huge difference. And also, because this is 500D, it's a little more like flexible and malleable, so this pocket becomes a lot easier to use. That Dyneema is like impossible, 1000D is tighter. It's just something to note, and it definitely makes this bag feel more, just easier to use. User-friendly, as it were. I'm gonna take this patch off in case it's confusing some folks. Again, shout out Carryology, I'll leave it there for flavor. In daily use, the reason I think this bag works so well is because I mentioned earlier there's that zip pocket on the GR1, the newer GR1s that are like kind of special edition ones, the new Heritage has that. What I tend to do with this bag is I will just use, in daily use, I won't pack anything in this front compartment, and I'll just use this top bit. So the front compartment looks like this, generally speaking. And it's got like a zippered pocket here and a zippered pocket here that you can use, and like actually it has some volume here. Like about, yay, much volume. And you could use that for packing. Like something like a wire Dopp fits perfectly here, some clothes or whatever. And it has this like built-in field pocket up here. The built-in field pocket is what I use as my quick access. It also has an opaque pocket here, which is very similar to the GR1. So what I do in use, when I'm using this bag in daily carry mode, I'll just leave the zippers here, one zip open, and then I am in. Now this is darkness, so you're not gonna be able to see it very well, but there's this mesh pocket here, and there's another mesh pocket here. I put my wallet in this one, put my AirPods in this one, and then I put my sunglasses here if I need them, and basically this stays like floppy because I'm not gonna flop the thing completely over, so this is never going to kind of dump out. I mean, I'm not doing anything crazy with my bag, so what ends up happening is I can just one zip, and then I've got my wallet, my AirPods, my sunglasses, and if I want to go further, I could put like I put my mask in here, and I could leave that even open if I wanted to, and I could end up with something that's just like, okay, one pocket here, and I've got a bunch of organization in this little gap that kind of fills this space here, and then that leaves this pocket, because it basically ends right here. So that leaves this pocket completely free because there's all that volume from this guy behind there. So in use, I can't explain to you how much better that is because you end up with this giant chunk of space here, which has all this organization and pockets and all that kind of stuff. And then you end up with this front flat pocket, which fills up this entire space here, and it just works great. Great, and it's one zip, one zip. I've used this tons and tons like that, and it's never bothered me. None of the things have ever fallen out. Obviously, I'm not using the bottom of it like flapped open, but it works very well. That's all I can say. Quickly, before we move on, a note about the 500D. This 500D doesn't pick up almost any pet hair. I have 2 white cats, nothing attaches to it. They work some magic with this 500D. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's got a coating or what, but it gets like nothing. Doesn't get much dust, doesn't get much anything. My 1000D Cordura GORUCKs get way more than this does. I don't know what it is. I was super scared of that, and it's just a non-issue. And it's amazing for somebody with cats. Okay, so more on this front pocket. So if you're not gonna use it in daily carry mode, say you're gonna travel, or maybe like your loadout is different than mine, you end up with a mesh pocket here and a mesh pocket here, and then this opaque pocket here. It's probably something to note. There's the made in the USA thing there and some Coyote zipper pulls on this side. Everything else is black. YKK number 10 on both main compartments and then number 8s everywhere else on the bag. Some people get annoyed, like there's so much mesh. It doesn't bother me. I don't care if I don't use it or not. I like the fact that this is on one side and then the other side. The reason is because I'm only gonna use one of them most often, or when I sling the bag over, I'm looking at you, Evergoods. When I sling the bag over, I can have the option of slinging it off my left shoulder and getting in one side, slinging off my right shoulder and getting in the other side. Thanks, GORUCK. You can just make the bag work for you. The other one, stay empty, or something in there that you never, ever, ever, ever need, or very rarely. Then the actual main compartment opens up something like so. Now I have this packed out kind of how I would to travel. So this is a very chunky GORUCK packing cube, and it fits very nicely in the bottom right there. Now without this, if I kind of go like so, without this, basically this ends up looking something like that with nothing too much in it. And then so you end up with something basically the same size as the GR2 or the GR1 21 liter. That's why I think this bag is so killer in daily carry mode if you want it to be. So this is the main compartment. The main compartment is very similar to a GR1. Basically you're looking at a GR1. The only difference really is this pocket is oriented on this side. The mesh on this bag feels great. It's made in the USA. The made in the USA GORUCKs always have very nice feeling mesh. There's some junk in here. There is a mesh pocket up here which differentiates it a little bit from a GR1. In a GR1 it would be opaque like it is in the front pocket. Not a big deal really either way. I mentioned earlier I don't like to put my laptop in that laptop compartment. What I tend to do is put a sleeve inside this rucking sleeve thing, and yeah, my laptop goes in here. To me that works perfectly fine in daily use if I was traveling like I said and I needed this space, but then again, like, this is a pretty big packing cube for me, and I don't think I would ever really need much more than that. But then again, you know, it just depends on how you roll. If I was traveling, what I would probably do is put this guy here, put this guy, by the way, this is the GORUCK wire Dopp. This thing is amazing. It has everything in it, from like my passport here to pencils to cables to everything under the sun. It's also interesting to note that it fits perfectly in all of these kind of sideways pockets here. So even though there's not a whole lot of volume in these pockets, like this thing is flat, so I recommend it highly if you have a GORUCK in general. And yeah, so it fits in there perfectly nice like so. I don't tend to put them in there. I don't think it really needs to go into one of those pockets. I think that for me in use, I would just toss it in here like that. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say. This is a great, great, great bag. Let's zipper back up and finish everything off. Oh, I was gonna say, this is the field pocket from GORUCK, the GR2 field pocket. If I wanted to travel with this bag like a lot, I'd probably attach this sucker onto the front here and give myself a little bit of Cartman there, you know, a little bit of Cartman-ish. But then it would probably give it another, whatever this is, 3 liters of space. I tend to put my camera in here, or at least I do from time to time. And then this, because it's padded, and I'll throw this like, you know, up here like so. And yeah, we're good, we're golden. I'll leave that in there for now while we talk about the bag. So all I want to say about this bag, well, you can see it there. That's with that stuff in it. I mean, there's still lots of space. I could put tons and tons of stuff more in it. Somebody probably would say like, well, you don't have a camera in there. Let's see. Here's an old Leica I had on the shelf. So I'm just gonna jam that sucker in there and see if it'll zip. Okay, that was pretty easy. And that's not a tiny Leica. You can see that's a chunky monkey, and it fit in there very, very nicely. So, and like, look how smooth these zippers are. That's one thing I want to make a point of. So look, I'm gonna hold both of them here and like around the corners. These ones. So these are the front pocket. A lot of this is to do with the fact that this is the 500D variant, so it's more floppy. The 1000D variant, you have to work on it. You have to work it in to get it to be like that in this, because the GR2 has so many pockets and so many zippers, I think with a 1000D you end up in trouble because it's just a little bit too stiff and until you work it in, whereas this 500D variant, it's just so smooth everywhere. It just feels great. Everything about this bag feels excellent, excellent. The pre-order is probably over by now, but if you have a chance to snag one, this is one of the best bags there is. Honestly, I think it might be the best bag there is for me. If you said I had to pick a bag, literally I had to, I had no choice, a bag that would do everything, absolutely everything, this would be it. And that's just how it is. This would be the bag that would do everything. I could travel with it indefinitely, I could use it daily, and I would never feel any stress anywhere in between. It just gets out of the way, does its job, and it does it really, really friggin' well. When it comes to GORUCK in general, they have the best warranty in the business. So if you're worried about the fact that it's 500D, I've heard people say, oh my God, GORUCK's supposed to be 1000D, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Mystery Ranch makes some of the craziest bags in the world for some of the craziest situations, and they're almost all 500D. I think that it doesn't matter a whole lot. These are all tougher than we are, literally. And the Scars warranty on any GORUCK product is just like, you break it, they fix it, that's the end of the story. I don't know what else to say here, folks. I probably missed a bunch because since, well, this is the second time I'm filming it, as I mentioned, but I had to do it because this is just one of my favorite bags ever. I love this bag. It's such a nice bag. If you have any questions about it, feel free to let me know. Everything I said in this video also applies to the 34 liter and the 40 liter version of this bag. The only difference is literally the size. I'm a very small guy, so this works for me. If I was a taller guy, maybe the 34 liter would work for me. 40 liter is big, big, big. But then again, if you're the type of person that needs a ton of stuff, then maybe that's the one you want. Otherwise, that's it for me, folks. Again, shout out to all of you who are watching. I very much appreciate it. I'll catch you on the flip side. If you have any questions, let me know. Bye-bye.